Thank you, everyone, for coming to Skye Jackson's farewell reading. Thank you for supporting the Kerouac Project and all of its residents. Tonight's reader, Skye Jackson, was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Her work has appeared in The Southern Review, Electric Literature, Green Mountains Review, Rattle, and elsewhere. Her poetry has been a finalist for the 2023 Iowa Review Poetry Award and the RATTLE Poetry Prize, the RHINO Founders Prize, and in 2021 she received the AWP Intro Journals Award. Skye's work was also selected by Billy Collins for inclusion in the Library of Congress Poetry 180 project. Her debut full-length poetry collection, Libre, was published by Regalo Press and distributed by Simon Schuster in spring 2025. She currently teaches at Xavier University. Everyone, Skye Jackson.
Hey, y'all. I'm so happy that y'all are here, and I'm so happy to be here with you, and I'm so sad to be, leaving tomorrow. It really flew by so quickly, and I just appreciate all of you, all of the board at the Kerouac House for being so accommodating and kind to me and just sort of welcoming me like I was another member of the family. I appreciate it. So tonight I've got old poems. I've got new poems. What do you guys want to hear first? New or old?
What do you want to read?
I'm open to either, but what's the energy? New? All right, let's start with something new then. Vivian has spoken. And I shall deliver.
Yes.
All right, so this first poem is an abecedarian. And so that means every line begins with a letter of the alphabet and goes through the alphabet until it gets to Z. So, of course, it gets progressively more difficult as you go on with the abecedarian. So this was one of my first nights in Orlando when I was inspired to write this poem. It's called My First Night at the Wine Bar in Florida, an abecedarian poem. And I'm already getting into some shit because the white woman sitting next to me, curling her fingers around her glass, has a problem. Does not think that black Catholics like my mother actually exist. And this, on the night Leo becomes Pope. Fine. We all know that he and his brothers are passing for white. God apparently looked past that, as he is apt to do. Hell, we still claiming him, though, inviting him to a cookout he never actually wanted to attend. Just then, the white woman is getting a little sloshy, keen on trying to connect with me somehow. She's a lawyer here in town, married to the handsome contractor sitting close by. Now, at some point, another woman walks to our table. On her way out the door, kisses my cheek, pattering the words Happy Mother's Day quietly to me, and I ruminate lightheartedly, do I look old enough to be a mom? To the table. Suddenly, the white woman slurs, don't listen to her. That is not a woman. The guitar player sitting nearby and I recoil in horror at her words. Unable to understand this blatant transphobia, voracious and inescapable, we tell her to stop. Too much wine has been poured between us all. A sort of xenophobia spilling like shadow down the walls. It's just my first night at the wine bar in Florida, and even Zinfandel can't save us from burning. All right, this next poem was written at the Maitland, inspired by Michael Massaro's Lost exhibit. When I first experienced one of his art pieces, I was immediately transported back to where I grew up in, which is New Orleans, and my experiences with Hurricane Katrina. And so this poem is based on that. It's called Chasing the Still Point, after Michael Massaro. At the Loss exhibit in Orlando, I am stunned to see a braid jutting out from the center of a wall, reminding me of my great-grandmother Ophelia, who kept her own mother's long, dark braid in a blue Royal Dansk butter cookie tin box next to her bed for all of her life, 84 years. Sometimes she'd pull it out delicately and show it to us proudly, reminisce about what was left of this Native American woman she'd never met, the one who died giving birth to her. The blue tin and the hidden braid remained in the heart of the Ninth Ward down on Gallier Street next to her bed, even after she died. And when Hurricane Katrina happened and the house was ravaged by the storm, artfully destroyed, as if by the hands of an abusive lover, my mother returned to the house, hoping to save it, salvage the rusted metal urn, and bring it home. But it was gone, the still point, as fragile as memory, vanishing in plain sight. People will never tell you what I myself have come to know. A drowned house makes the perfect grave, rich, deep, and fragrant with loss. I still see my mother, fleeing the waterlogged house, closing the broken silver gate behind her, having tiptoed towards darkness, and then back out to the fragile light again, making her way into the car with me, clutching my hand as though it were somehow both life raft and prayer. I, too, kneel in awe and wonder of all that we sweep up as custodians of memory, walking away from the deluge of grief. Nothing is left behind. Thank you. Any Harry Potter fans in the house? Yes?
I just want to make sure,
Can everyone hear? Oh, all right, cool. So this, I started thinking about this because one of my friends asked me, like, okay, what house would you be in Harry Potter? You know, like, what's your house? And so we started this whole conversation about it. And then I started thinking about, what does the Sorting Hat do like the other 364 days of the year? When it's not like sorting children into houses. Like, I was like, what is it doing, you know? And so I wrote this poem to answer that question. When asked how he spends the other 364 days of the year, the Sorting Hat responds, I'm just like you. I never once asked to be alive. Tell me. Are human beings often expected to justify their own existence? In fact, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen the inside of a closet? No, I mean really seen it. Dark and cool, filled with items both treasured and forgotten. That's me, most of the time, placed but never sorted. Often wonder what house I would find myself in. Would it be the one for those who are brave or cunning, whimsical or ambitious? It's been a long time since I glanced myself in a mirror. Fear unravels me like a needle. Just because I am an assistant of vanity does not mean that I'm a slave to it. Sometimes, when it gets quiet and the cobwebs are newly born, spun but abandoned by the spiders like orphans, they yawn awake and ask me, like children, which house would you place us in? Where is it that we belong? I always say, why? You are always in a house, whether or not people can see you or us. We belong somewhere, right here, sleeping in the darkness. I say, right here. Thank you. Thank you. This next poem is called Unsolved Mysteries. So I bought this book of poetic prompts, and it gives you a different prompt for like every day of the year that you have to write into. And so one of them was about talking about an unsolved mystery in your life, or like some unsolved mystery that intrigues you. And so this is my list of unsolved mysteries in the form of a list poem. Unsolved mysteries. Who stole Alexis's car our freshman year of college and left it in the Walmart parking lot on Tchoupitoulas? Where the last inmates who escaped from OPP are hiding? Why Nottoway Plantation was rebranded as a resort? Who started the fire that burned it down? Why they didn't do it sooner? If there is a ghost haunting the chair in the back of the Kerouac house, the one Jack drank himself to death in, if I'm the one haunting myself in this house, how we got 12 inches of snow in New Orleans this past February, why I tried to shovel the snow from the driveway with an old broom, why my ex keeps sending me subliminal messages on his Instagram stories, why my older brother killed himself. My father interjects, you mean why someone killed your brother? Why I can't stop watching old 80s episodes of Unsolved Mysteries. Why I can't find a vintage Burberry trench coat like Robert Stack's. Why the bomb with C4 and covered in nails didn't detonate when we walked past it at 3 a.m. in the quarter on New Year's. Why my mother stays on her knees praying. Why the woman in Lakeview kept the dead body of her son in his childhood bedroom for 9 months. Why the blood clots won't stop. Why the tears won't either. Why none of us can accept the truth. Thanks, y'all. This next poem is called Obedience, Silence, and Chastity. So context for this. I was on the phone with my mom and I was like, I'm just going to join a nunnery. I'm so tired of guys. Like, I'm so tired of drama. This is blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, actually, I went to the thrift store and I found a book about how to become a nun. And it says that you have to practice obedience, silence, and chastity. So this is what that was in the book. So I turned this into a poem. Obedience, silence, and chastity. I left one apathetic white boyfriend in New Orleans, one loving ex-boyfriend in Vermont, and one wild-haired one with a motorcycle who keeps trying to lure me back to Santa Monica. My mother is amused, but tells me wisely to leave each of them alone. My dad says, if none of them looks like JFK Jr., why, then don't even bother bringing any of them home. So I don't. And leave them at the doorstep where most men like to land, like to beg, interrupting dinner and sleep for something that they present illusory, the ever mythical and non-existent second chance. Ah, get thee to a nunnery, I tell myself. But then my mother explains to me the rules that she found in a thrift store book last week. Obedience, silence, chastity. And she's already lost me at the first one. Imagine me, clad in the blackest habit I can find, headband and veil covering sun-faded rose gold box braids on the most silent day that is known to us, screaming at Mother Superior, you can't tell me what to do. With a borrowed Bible in one hand and a portable typewriter in the other, as the man from Santa Monica pulls in front of the convent and yells for me to just come outside. His black and red Ducati hummed to a gentle purr under the moonlight, presenting my favorite possibility, escape, a night flower crawling across my fingers like a wayward vine. With a smile, the tip of his tongue playfully meets the air, licking at the fragile cocoon, holding me straitjacket tight inside. Thank y'all so much. This next poem I wrote, did anyone hear about Ananda Lewis? She recently died of breast cancer. She was like an MTV VJ for many years. Yeah, and so the story with that is that she was like 52, but she died of breast cancer because she basically ignored all of her doctors. Like, she didn't want to get the mammograms, found the cancer too late, didn't want to get the chemo, didn't want to do a mastectomy, and then eventually passed away just recently. Yeah. And so I was really intrigued by this and sort of trying to understand why someone would do that, why someone would so ignore all of the like lifelines that had been sent to them, you know? And so I wrote this poem trying to understand that. It's called For 5 Years I Carried You, for Ananda Lewis. For 5 years, I carried you, gentle, careful, and protective, like an embryo I knew I would never meet. You grew within me without ever asking my permission. Why? You have to admire one that blindly devours indiscriminately, asking no questions, requiring only the promise of flesh, a cell in which to dwell and then multiply in. You built a bountiful city within the walls of my skin, an unsustainable empire like an Ouroboros within, a colony so fabulously bold and terrorist it could not be negotiated with or overcome with bribery. Were you sentient? I asked myself, somewhere in the fragile beyond, because surely you were alive, thriving even, as every inch of me died. Nothing more suicidal, more driven with a singular ambition to die than you. Did you know that the body is vengeful, seeks joyfully to destroy itself? How strange that despite my best efforts, I protected you, gave you a warm body and nourishment under the illusion I could will you away. Change my diet, cleanse the toxins from my blood, the word's holistic treatment hollowing me like a spoon dipping slow into the sweet cave of a cantaloupe. You, the same reaper who took my mother from me, the same reaper who robbed me from my only child as he walked across the middle school commencement stage. You, the same phantom who seduced me against medicine and logic, the one who made me believe that life was just a game you could win if you had met the player in battle before. Did you know our bodies crave lies the way they do water? Reader, I only ask that my life be a warning signal in yours, a beacon blazing through the fog of the path best not to take. Thank you so much. I don't know how long I've been going so far. Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, I just never want to be that person, you know?
I don't know what time we started, but 7:42.
7:42. What time did we start? I don't even know. I have no sense of time.
We didn't start until like 7:30 almost. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing okay, I think. I think I'm doing all right. All right. I'm going to read one more new poem, and then I have other new poems, but they're in my notebook. I didn't get a chance to type them up. Yes. This poem is called Breaking Satan, and it's for Alan. It wouldn't rain the day I broke that dog. Satan, everyone called him. One of those names that catches on unbelievable and slow, like a curse. That dog would kill a chicken just because it could. The blood smeared across its teeth as true as a promise. The death he delivered, sweet like a postcard in the mail. I was the only one who could control him. He'd hesitate when he saw me coming, cool like a stream turning to ice in the winter. And then she ended things, turned me away from the farm I'd helped to tend, made me leave Satan behind. So naturally, he went back to killing. 20 chickens beheaded in a week just because he could. She called me crying, "You better come back for this dog." So I took him home, and he escaped to kill again, this time another dog who'd crossed him, and I snapped, took him by the neck like a man I meant to kill, and squeezed, his cries lighting up the gray sky, until I heard a voice, his, in my head, pleading, "Don't kill me. I swear I'll do whatever you say." And I let go. My hand slipped down to my jeans, darkened with sweat and the blood of that dead dog Satan had killed. I gave mercy. This wriggling thing so disgusting and alive that neither of us had ever known. And he stood at attention. Would you believe it? After that, he became the best damn dog I ever had. Even renamed him Saint. Sometimes it's hard to recognize a miracle, especially after you've tried hard to kill it. That was a true story someone told me once, and I was like, I was like, whoa, dude, like, that's a poem. Yes. So thank you for listening to some of my new work. I hope it didn't suck. If it did, my apologies, guys. I did the best I could. I tried. Oh, gosh. I'm going to read some poems from my book that just came out, Libre. And I have some copies if anyone is interested in them. Let's see. This poem, or this is a sequence, it's called Sugar Daddy Sonnet Tiara. And I call it a tiara because it is not a crown. A crown is like 14 length sonnets. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm there yet. I will cut this in half and call it a tiara. So that is what I did. And this is what it is. Sugar Daddy Sonnet Tiara. I dreamt of you so long before we met. A rich mystery man on a lush street offering me the world for just a taste of the dark sunsets and valley beneath my dress. Shy at Garden of Eden, you watched me dance with another man grinding on the hot rooftop. Did you have some fun, you asked, as you ordered me my first drink, something pink in a cup, dirty, surely, sweet and cool on my lips. You watch me sip as lightning flash cracks up the Key West sky. How strange, you found me on a street corner, counting my loose change outside a sex shop. We head inside the bar as the rain falls. The drunk rain calls, we fall into the bar. You want to know everything about me, so I tell you about my poetry, this residency, the home waiting for me in NYC. I'm 32, free, typing poems for strangers on Key West streets, rolling around town for just 2 more days. You're just as lonely as a Tuesday night. To my surprise, you asked me for a poem and to take care of me the next few days. Dinners, cocktails, adventures, whatever you want. My cheeks burn. What will you get, though? Why, just the pleasure of your company. I think, hell yes. Let this strange pact begin. Yes, hell is close when our strange plot thickens. We go to the Green Parrot, my fave bar, where a white man once tried to follow me, ducked into shadows to watch me walk home. My girl shout shamed him into retreating. I can't be both black and girl in these streets. I flirt with you so the bartender sees. Quick, fast, we order 2 tequila shots. You say we'll talk about your poem Sunday. Tomorrow at dinner, it's a downer. And tonight you want to play. Amazed that the whole bar knows my name. Honestly, same. I'm the only black girl on this island. Suddenly, I blink and we're on the beach. The night blinks and the beach whispers softly. The full white moon so close, almost in reach. I throw off my sandals and hike up my dress, wade into the sea. Salt water swallows my thighs. It's 4 a.m. Sunday, workshop in 5 hours, and I haven't even slept watching you, bereft in the dark waves. Night so quiet, I can hear the sand breathe. You tell me you've never had a night like this, though you were married once before. You ask to hold me as we float in deep. I oblige to see your illusions rise, that look in your eyes. This, you say, the best night of your life, and lead me to your room. Best night of your life led me to this room. The pool outside your window glowing blue like a turquoise tomb. Oh, sorry. I just lost my place just that fast. You're silent. I smile. Guess we found our max. I ask you for an Uber. Clearly, it's time for me to go. Sand stuck between my toes. I leave, rushed, though you ask me to stay. In the car ride back, the night flees, fades. Once home, I peel off my dress and shower. I wash the night and you away so quick. The night washes me away, beds you quick. Next morning, the room spins, hangover thick. My alarm throbbing like a bursting vein, you text. We still on for dinner tonight. Pick whatever restaurant you want, so I do. Hours later, I slurp my cure. Decadent seafood soup, shrimp, clam, snapper, divine. We discuss your poem as the wine is poured. You conjure your sister dead at 14, shot by your older brother's gun beneath your favorite tree, an accident that haunts you still. You couldn't sleep for days, weeks, months, only 13 yourself, innocence lost. I head back to my room to write your poem. The poem, head thrown back, writes me in that room. My mind swims with thoughts of your long-lost home. The tears in your eyes as you told the tale. The next morning we meet for breakfast, crepes. I read the poem I've typed for you aloud. I call it What Trees Remember. Sending you into a delicate spiral. How did you do this, you ask? Tell my story. You sigh and we sip more mimosas slow. My flight's in 3 hours. I'm in no rush though. You drop me back home and ask me, how much for the poem? So I give you a hug and shrug it off, say, no worries with a smile. Still you slip me a benny for the flight. I slip the benny into my pocket. Your text message lands fast like a rocket. Call me when you can. Swear I'll wait for you. My group chat buzzes, Skye. What will you do? I'll settle back into NYC life, quiet, set about knitting you into sonnets. Cook, clean, lean into my own slow riot. Thank you. Oh gosh. Are we okay for time? I don't have my phone near me, so I really don't know. Okay. I will read a couple more poems. All right, this is the poem that begins the collection. I started with the poem that ends the collection, so now I'm going to the one that begins it. Can we touch your hair? At the parades, everyone wants to touch my hair. On the corner of St. Charles and Marengo, I am cold and smashed and puffy AF. When two white women try to convince me that they love my hair, no, they really, really do, they say, because it is so black and thick and curly and soaking up all of the water in the damp air. The mousy one says through an Alabama drawl, God, you can do so much with it. And her blonde friend says, you can't do a damn thing with mine, won't even hold a curl. She runs away to grab another friend and says to her, Stacy, isn't it even prettier than Macy Gray's? We just love her, don't we? Together, they circle me and ask, can we touch your hair? Then, suddenly, just like my ancestors long ago, I am pulled apart, soft, by pale hands from all directions. Thank you so much. Let's see. This next poem is called Umbrella. On just another day of relentless rain in New Orleans, I studied the girl planted in front of my register for a long time. Gray hoodie drenched, her dark eyes refused my glance, but somehow the red paper carnation tied around her wrist dry as linen hung on a clothesline. She picked up an umbrella from a basket on the floor and walked slowly to the door. I stopped her as she stood 1 foot beyond the threshold. Are you gonna pay for that? I asked, trembling. She looked up at me, brown eyes endless as the earth, her skin deep chicory like my own. She smiled at me through closed mouth and never opened her lips once to speak. She handed me the umbrella tucked underneath her arm. The flower on her wrist opened slightly in the wind as she walked out into the slaughter of rain. Thank you. I will read one more poem. This last one is called No Foul Play Suspected. And it's for Corey Gautier. And it begins with an epigraph by the poet Eugenia Lee. Everyone warns us off the rocks, but what will keep us from the river? You left your phone and purse open on the passenger seat in a new car on a bridge overlooking the Mississippi River. You did not take the keys out of the ignition. You left the car, an 18th birthday present from your parents still running. You rushed to your blind date with death as though it were the dental appointment scheduled in your Google Calendar for the next morning. There was no need for seduction. You were a sure thing. So you stood on the cement lip of the bridge and cast yourself over the guardrail without a sound, like a fishing line gliding into the muddied water. Your headlights were still on as the tow truck arrived. No one, not even the tow truck driver, stopped to wonder why. Lights on, car running, phone and purse inside, engine still breathing, though you were no longer. When he rigged your car to his truck without so much of a backward glance, he confirmed your haunting. No one cares. I imagine your ochre eyes, beautiful and sick with tired, anchored to the water below. Tell me this. If no one is around to hear the sound of a brown girl plunging like a dagger into a river, did she ever even fall at all? No foul play suspected is all that the papers will say. Out of respect for the family, the police chief refuses to speak on the topic any further. They will not call your death a suicide out of respect. The drowned girl, silenced twice. I ask myself, where do you run when nowhere, not even home, will suffice? I was like you once, saw the river as comfort, a dark crib to nurse my suffering. The water Stygian and full of possibilities, delicious silence. What if I had driven off the bridge as desire called me to, under the blurred veil of my tears? A wedding of brown water and browner skin, would I have beckoned to you from the river bottom on a jagged marital bed of rock? The current pushing our bodies together as the curve of the moon smiled down at the light of its own reflection on the water. Thank you.